Has the Dalai Lama chosen his successor? This question is buzzing in the city of Dharamshala, the virtual capital of the Dalai Lama and Tibet's government in exile. It is the official residence of the Dalai Lama, the supreme leader of Tibetan Buddhism, who dominates the cityscape. He has been living in exile here since 1960. And all of a sudden, this peaceful haven is astir as observers ponder over whether one of the great decisions in the history of Tibetan Buddhism has been made. Has the Dalai Lama named his successor? Have a look at this report. It was carried by the Times UK. It says, on the 8th of March, a delegation of 600 Mongolian monks attended a ceremony in Dharamshala, and present among them was a 7-year-old boy. In one image from the ceremony, he is being felicitated by the Dalai Lama. In another image, the Dalai Lama is seen assisting him in playing the Tibetan singing bowl. These images have led to speculation. Speculation over who this boy really is. Now, here's what we know so far. The boy's formal title is the 10th Khalka Jetsun Dhampa Rinpoche. In the hierarchy of Tibetan Buddhism, he is supposed to be the third most senior Lama and the head of the Buddhist faith in Mongolia. He was reportedly born in 2015 in the United States and possesses dual nationality. He is one of a pair of twin boys named Agudai and Ashultai. There is no clarity on which one came to Dharamshala. The boy's father is a mathematics professor at the National University of Mongolia. His mother is a businesswoman. His grandmother is a former member of Mongolia's parliament. This family is apparently a long-standing patron of one of Mongolia's biggest monasteries. In 2016, when the Dalai Lama visited Mongolia, he had made a crucial announcement. Addressing a gathering, he had said that the Jetsun Dhampa had been reincarnated and that the search was on to find him. Turns out, this is the boy he was talking about. The question is, could he be the next Dalai Lama? Could he be the next spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism? Well, here's what we can tell you. Back in Mongolia, this ceremony has provoked a lot of excitement. Mongolians are celebrating the anointment of one of their own as the third senior-most Lama. They say this sets the stage for the boy to succeed the Dalai Lama. But last we checked, that is not how Tibetan Buddhism works. Tibetan Buddhists from the Gelug tradition believe that the Dalai Lama can reincarnate, that he has control over his rebirth and can even choose the body in which he will be reincarnated. So the anointment of this boy could just be a kind of rehearsal for the reincarnation of the Dalai Lama. It does not have to mean that he is the next successor. Also, there has been a growing demand that the Dalai Lama name his successor to preempt the Chinese-controlled monks to name one after the Dalai Lama's death, creating a schism. The history and functioning of Tibetan Buddhism offers a more complex picture. I'll start from 1933. That's when the previous Dalai Lama died. But instead of exiting the circle of life and death, he is said to have been reborn into a new body as Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama. He came from a family of peasants, was born a year after the 13th died and was ordained at the age of 3. That is 4 years after the 13th Dalai Lama passed away. 8 decades since this coronation, the Dalai Lama's age is advancing. He will turn 88 in July this year. He is still in good health, yes, but the question of who will succeed him has become one which is more pressing than ever. So how will this succession happen really? Well, a key person responsible for finding the child who will be the Dalai Lama is known as the Panchen Lama, the second most important figure in Tibetan Buddhism. And interestingly, it is the Dalai Lama who appoints the Panchen Lama. The current Dalai Lama chose this 6-year-old boy, Gedun Choeki Nema, as the Panchen Lama. This was in May 1995. And this is where things turn murky because this boy has not been seen for the last 26 years. What happened to him? Well, he was kidnapped by the Chinese regime. That's right. China kidnapped a 6-year-old. It rejected his appointment, took the boy into custody, and appointed its own Panchen Lama through a lottery. Just look at how bizarre this is. China counterfeited a religious figure. They want to do the same with the next Dalai Lama. They want to appoint a candidate who kowtows to Beijing and the Communist Party. The present Dalai Lama says he will not let that happen.
Final authority is myself, no one else. And obviously, not Chinese communist.
So who is it going to be? Well, the Dalai Lama has floated a number of options, a number of scenarios for his reincarnation. Number one, picking a new successor in India, where he has lived all his life. He has often stated it himself that he should be reincarnated in India. The second option is the idea of a woman taking over the role. The Dalai Lama once said that if the circumstances require a female Dalai Lama it will be. But he also said that she should be attractive, a statement that he later apologized for, calling it a joke lost in translation. And the third and final scenario is that he will not reincarnate at all. He believes the tradition should cease because there is no guarantee that, and I'm quoting, some stupid Dalai Lama will not come next who will disgrace himself or herself. Those were the exact words spoken. Now, whatever happens, the broad consensus is that China should have no role to play in the Dalai Lama's reincarnation/succession. And this has become an international political issue now. The US Congress has even passed an act, the Tibetan Policy and Support Act, which reaffirms the right of Tibetans to choose the next Dalai Lama. But at the same time, the question is, why should China respect an American law? But does China respect any law? Does China respect the present Dalai Lama? The answer is no. In fact, its spokespersons routinely denigrate the present Dalai Lama. For them, Tibet and its Buddhism is a political game, not a holy religion. The communists, after all, are atheists who dismiss religion as the opium of the people. China conquered Tibet through force and for 7 decades has suppressed the Tibetan people and their religion. China wants a puppet, not a spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhists. On the other hand, there is India. India has protected Tibetan Buddhists. It has offered a sanctuary where Tibetan culture has thrived, a country the Dalai Lama calls home. So has the Dalai Lama brought the Mongolian child to India to pave the way for a different kind of succession? That is what the buzz is all about. In India, this child will be safe and ready for the moment when it comes. It is both a religious conundrum and a geopolitical battle. The question is, who will ultimately win this battle? Well, if only there was a prophecy that could tell us the outcome. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.